Well, this is the grand finale here. I so frustrating. I'm not sure I want to tally this up. I'm kind of I might cry on camera. I don't know. So, how much did that dealership cost me? Because they didn't give a crap. I'm trying to be PG on this. They clearly do not care at all. So it's apparent to me that they got possession of the car either through some sort of auction, I don't know, or the city bought a vehicle from Nissan, not another cop car, but another vehicle for something city business. And when I did look this up, this car was in storage somewhere, impound lot or something, I don't know. So the police department retired it probably because of this. They probably had another vehicle. In fact, I was told they had a sister car. I went to Maryland. So they probably had one that died, or maybe, they knew it was dying. So they stopped driving it. Because when these cams go out, you don't have months to drive on it. When they go out, it's dead. It's a paperweight. These people sold me a paperweight, basically. In the illusion that I have a working car. So, now I have some high technology here. So, real high technology here. So right now, that's the current state of the car. I'm waiting on a locksmith to program some more keys for the car because I only got one. Right there's the two magnets that I slapped in the door. And I went to the UPS store, had people looking at it. So that's actually pretty cool, I think. And I spent my morning basically being Martha Stewart. So print this out. I'm just gonna put it through the back window. I got a cage back there, so these will stay in the back window. I don't want people really looking up the Facebook group and all that and trying to scan the code while they're driving. So kind of think safety, I guess. You know. So my original when I bought the car, actually that weekend, I think I picked up on a Friday. The next day I went to Mako to get an estimate to get the doors painted. I was going to remove the police stickers. I want the car to be all black. That way I didn't get nailed for, impersonating police officers I cruise around. So, as far as I gathered, I could drive this car with the lights and everything on it. I just can't turn the lights on. Now I turn the lights off in the trunk. That way if I do get pulled over, I don't want to get accused of it. So, well, I gotta go in the trunk and hit a button, And that's why the whole car originally had police all over it. I mean, they couldn't even remove the goddamn decals, So I went and removed 4 letters and took police off the trunk. They couldn't even do that. Fucking lazy. Nope, they weren't my PG-13. So, yeah. So this is basically a recap video. So the car was advertised for $8,600. And I was under the impression I was buying it, and I went bought it, and didn't find out that they charged me $9,650. I didn't find that out until I got the title. So that's special, right? So now I had the car, and check engine light would pop when I drive. Like if you accelerate real hard, it would ding. It was getting a miss. Now normally You know, you got a car with 90,000 miles, whatever. You think, oh, it just needs a tune-up. So I went and bought some things, did a minor tune-up to it, then resolve it. So I went to a tire shop because the tires were bald as hell. I think it rained that day, Saturday, and I could barely like keep on the road. I mean, it was pretty bad. So I bought new tires for it, and when I was there, I said, "Hey, give me an estimate for this check engine code," which they were just gonna quote me a full tune-up, which was like, God, that included new injectors, new spark plugs, or no, I'm sorry, it didn't include injectors. It included spark plugs, coils, and I think it was some sort of cleaning for the fuel system. Now, mind you, the spark plugs are like, I think they were charging like 18 bucks a plug, and I got 16 of them. And the coils, I'm sure, were just spectacular price too. So now, mind you, now if I didn't have a mechanical background, a little bit, you know, because I went to diesel mechanic school. If I went to that shop, because they didn't run a diagnostic, because really to find the problem with the car, you would have to take the valve covers off and check the valves. Now they didn't know that. So if I let them do that, I would have lost another $1,000 having them do that. So an average, you know, some Joe Schmo down there could bought this and lost another $1,000. So okay, so now that's going on. So then I called the dealer and said, "Hey, this is popping, whatever. I need this checked out." And I had a warranty, which was 20% off parts and labor. So whatever, kind of a crappy warranty, but as a used car, you know, I didn't think much of it. Whatever. I bought used cars from dealers. I got hosed by Wacom Honda once. I had to sue them and settle out of court, and they bought the car back and ate my negative equity off the other car because they sold me a junk car. So I have no problems in suing them for that. And I got them over a breach of contract or whatever on that car. Probably because they ended up having me take it to the Volkswagen dealer myself. It's probably where it got hit. Anyhow, so sidetrack. So kind of lost my train of thought. So took the car down there, and the Nissan guy on the phone said, "Oh, all they did is change the battery in the trunk, which it does look like a brand new battery." That's all they did, as far as they told me. Now, after the fact, I bought the car, and I started talking around because I had another coworker. He looked at it, and he fired up, and it was knocking when he looked at it, and it was low in oil too. And that was before I looked at it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't find out till after I bought the car. And he told him that it was knocking through the keys and said that it's junk and walked out the door. So they knew it was knocking. Not whether I can prove that, you know, if I was to sue them, no, because that's kind of hearsay. They, you know, they want facts. Now I know that my coworker ain't gonna lie to me or whatever. So really disappointed that. In fact, I had his number. I never call him unless, you know, I think the last time I called him was, man, it had to been like 3 years or so, because I never called. Unless, you know, we were renting together or whatever. I don't remember even how I had his phone number. Probably on the drill tailings. So, I found that out, God, when it was in my garage. In fact, I didn't find that out until after I started taking the car apart. So anyhow, so it was down there, and they ended up shipping it off down the street to the Dodge dealer. They even know it existed. I don't live down there. And the best part is that the salesman said, when I mentioned I had a check engine light when I test drove it. And this was my fault. I took a risk buying it. I thought it just needed a tune-up like everyone else, like the tire shop. And he said that they basically outsource it to some guy that inspects cars. So let me understand it. Now, if I'd known that the Dodge dealership was just down the goddamn road, that would have been a goddamn red flag, like fireworks in the sky. This guy's lying to me. So, alright. So, it goes down to that dealership. And it must have been about 4 days. Finally get in. And I get a phone call. And the estimate to fix the car was $5,700. And now, mind you, I just financed this car. Where am I going to come up with money to pay to fix the car I just bought? So, now you would think, clearly there was an issue with the car. It didn't just appear overnight. It wasn't like a little gremlin got in the car. At this time, I've driven the car 500 miles. In fact, my intentions with this car was I got a Cobalt out there. I was going to leave at my place of employment so that it would be easier for me for commuting. Well, I was test driving the car, make sure everything was working before I did that. Thank God I did. So, at this point, when I took it down to that dealership, now mind you, before, it would just ding, like if you kind of hit the gas a little hard, it would ding. On the way from my house down to that dealership, all I heard was ding, 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 ding. That was how many misfires that engine had. So, anyhow, so $5,700 to repair this car. So I called the sales manager at Nissan Parkway, and he avoided my calls all goddamn day, so he had to have known. And finally get a hold of him, and then I recorded that conversation. And you see how far that went. So I called the Dodge dealer down there, told him I don't care how long it takes, or I don't care, how did I word it to him? He knew I was mad. I said, I'm leaving my house now, getting a ride. It's going to be 30 minutes or more. I expect my car back together, and I'm picking it up. So I get down there, and of course they charge me a $130 diagnostic fee. So couldn't even give me a free diagnostic thing on a car they just owed me. Couldn't even get that. And by the time I got back to my house with it, it was skipping. The one cylinder was dead. Actually, it was dead down there. So I was running on 7 cylinders at that time. It's a MEV8. So I mean, it was going downhill quick. So I got to my house, and I think it was that days when I took over the garage, and I had troubles getting it to start a little bit. So that's what's going on there. So for the next 3 months, I bought it at the end, or what, 7/22? Yeah, 7/22 is when I bought it. I didn't get the car running till 10/29. So almost 3 months, just a little bit 3 months. So that's the backstory of this car. So this is like one of the last videos I'm making on this Facebook page. This is why I'm doing this. So, got it fixed And here we are. Took it to a muffler shop because I couldn't get that done. And that was like 130 bucks. And now I gotta go to the dealer. So I imagine that's gonna probably be a $300 bill. And I'll be leaving those magnets on, so don't worry. So I guess it's time for the unveiling. Mind you, I've got some high quality technology. We'll make it a little roomy here. Alright. Okay, well, so that's not how I do this. Alright, so from the time I picked up the car, when I decided to give a minor tune-up. So we got 16 spark plugs, 127.84. I ended up buying another set of spark plugs later on. One coil, one injector. That was $207.82. Money I pissed away because of scratch that. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like it's too hard. You're supposed to be able to just add it, you know? Alright, scratch that. I'll have to edit that out. Alright, so fuck. Alright, so these were wasted parts here. Spark plugs, ignition coil, that was $207.82. Those were the wasted parts that were not needed. Right? Alright, so we're just going to open another goddamn calculator. So we're at $207.82 with wasted parts. And I had to buy another set of spark plugs. And engine coolant times 3. Engine oil filter. Alright, so we're back to the head bolts. High technology here, buddy. So we got 4 of these at $95.08, and then had to buy an extra set for $23.79 because my torque wrench broke. Head gaskets, it's $28.08. For some reason, one side was cheaper than the other. I don't know why. $51. I'll be generous. Just all right. Heads. They were 5 something a piece. They were $129.98. That included new valve and everything else. And now we're getting down to the lifters. $429 for lifters. Head gasket set was $104.99. Camshaft $335. Thermostat $13.66. Timing chain kit was $87.15. Oil pump was $78.73. One snap rocker on retainer restrainer bolt was $15. One lost cam thrust plate bolt. I had to buy a set of 5. That was $10. And now we're at $27 or $2,708 just on parts. Just on parts. Now we're getting down to the tools. Engine coolant bleeder for $95. One magnet for that. 6.45 for another magnet for that. Clean out the oil pan. I got one scope camera to look into the engine bay, or the engine inside it. Harmonic cooler was $38.99. Harmonic balancer installer kit was $37.04. One Torx bit to get the alternator off. I'm sorry, the air compressor off. It's $27.99. New torque wrench, digital torque wrench. I didn't want to use the Harbor Freight one that decided didn't want to work for me anymore. Creeper and stool, my famous stool that carried. And let me tell you, that stool was a trooper because I don't know, a little known fact, I'm a pretty big guy, and that thing was screaming with me on it. So yeah, Cooter, who was that? Oh crap. In fact, I don't know if I should count this or not because I had a problem putting the stool together, and they sent me a whole free creeper and stool. So $59.99 for that, and I don't know if it should count because I got a free one after that. And I had a pump oiler for $7.99. Alright. So I spent $407.72 on tools. Alright. So, wasted parts, top left. The actual parts I needed to get the car fixed on the right here, and the tools. And now, let's add this up. $207.82 plus $2,708.42 plus $4,772. $3,323.96. I saved myself. I don't want to mess everything up. $2,376 fixing it myself. Well, I shouldn't have the tools on there, so let me take the tools off because that is actually an asset I acquired. So I saved myself. Hold on a minute. You know what? I'm doing that all wrong. 33,2,396 minus the 407.72. So that would have brought that down to 2916. Yeah, it cost me, without the tools, was $2,784. And I did it myself, so the tools I've got asset out of it. It's not like it's not money waste. So that's what it cost me right there to fix the car, get it running in its current state. Add the tires. I don't even know if it was legal for them to sell me the tires like that. Diagnostic fee. Down there, the dealer. So I got the tires, that diagnostic. And there you go. Oh, I'm sorry. Getting ahead of myself. 130 plus 600. $4,000. What I totally spent on that car. So, yep. That's on credit cards. So not only do I have finance in the car, that's what I've totally spent on the car, fixing it. So, Tires were my fault. I guess I should have been more. Fortunately, the Chevy dealer, Progressive, let my guard down. They were pretty good to me. So, in fact, that's where I'm taking the car. I'm taking it to the Dodge dealer over there, Progressive. So, they've been pretty good for me and never hosed me. So, anyhow, that's pretty much it. Peace.